Hi guys, for today's video I'm going to be doing my makeup and telling you guys about a John Doe case that happened in Washington. Before I get started, I will have all of the products that I've used in the description box in case you're curious. I look absolutely crazy, I'm well aware. This is my primer. So on September 14th, 2001, a young man gets off the bus in Amanda Park, Washington. He goes to a little motel in Amanda Park by the name of Quinault. I probably am not pronouncing that right, but the Quinault Inn. And he asks for a room. He pays for one night and then says, I'll probably be spending a few more days, but he only pays for one night. So, you know, this is next to a little trailer park, and, you know, in trailer parks there are lots of people. And most of the time there's lots of kids, so there is a lot of noise. He goes back up to the front desk and he requests a room change because of the noise. And you know, he just wants a private time. He wants some peace and quiet, so, you know, I don't blame him. Now, he's not really seen much after he checks into this motel room. So on September 17th, so about 3 days later, he hasn't been seen. The maid goes and, you know, she's going to go do her job, and she goes in to his room, and I guess she feels like she has interrupted something because it looks as if this young man is in the closet praying. And she's probably thinking, oh, I've interrupted you, I'm so sorry. And then she, you know, kind of quickly realizes that this man is dead. The police are alerted. They come by and they determine that he has hung himself in the closet with a belt. They go to, you know how motels have those little books that everybody writes their names down in. They realize that this young man's name is Lyle Stevik. Now, he had an address for a place in Idaho. And I quickly realized that the address that he had listed was for a Best Western in Meridian, Idaho. So they start calling this place, you know, thinking maybe he is a worker, maybe that's where he's previously staying, he's a staff member, something. Somebody at this motel has got to know something about this man. They don't. Dead end. So since nobody at the Best Western could identify him, nobody knew who this young man was, they start looking at the bus drivers. He come on a bus, somebody had to have seen him, right? Wrong. None of the bus drivers could identify him. None of the ones that have been a driver for delivering to Amanda Park, Washington, could identify him. They hadn't seen him, which is odd because he come here on a bus. They start inspecting his room and they see that he has pulled the blinds, you know, he wanted complete privacy, and he had put pillows around the walls of the closet. And then he took his belt and hung himself with it. So in the room, they discovered he had no luggage, just a toothbrush and toothpaste, nothing else on him. He also had left $160 with a note with the money that said for the room. It was $160 in $20 bills. And he also had left another note that simply said suicide. I guess he didn't want anybody to suspect foul play. I don't really know. He was just letting them know, like, what he had done. They also found in the garbage where he had been trying to write the word suicide, and he had written it a couple times and then threw those in the garbage. It's like he was practicing his handwriting. He wanted it to be just right. They took this young man to the coroner's office, and the coroner could not identify him either. No fingerprints came back, nothing. The coroner also noticed that it was very apparent that this man had lost a significant amount of weight recently. Suggested he had lost around 40 pounds. The clothing that he had on was very, very baggy, and it was just not clothes that a man of his frame would wear. The coroner also suggested that he would have been between 20 and 30 years old. I feel like I accidentally got some of the red in my hands when I was putting on my primer, so my face might be a little red, I'm sorry. So the coroner could not identify this young man, and they quickly determined that the name that he was using was obviously not his name. They realized it was from a book, and the book is called You Must Remember This. There's a character in the book by the name of Lyle Stevik, except it's spelled Stevick, and he had spelled his name with just a K. There was no C. So in the book, the character just contemplates suicide. So it kind of makes you wonder if he was just contemplating, and then while he was there, he just decided. It also makes you wonder if the significant weight loss was due to depression, which is so very sad. All this information, and there's still missing pieces. So they buried this young man in the Fern Hill Cemetery in Aberdeen, Washington. This is the best that I'm gonna be able to do with this foundation. It is just not working. I need to also get it off my septum ring. So you're probably wondering how this ends. You know, what's next? They can't identify him. He's already buried. You know, what is next? People did not give up on finding this man and finding his family. 17 years later, 17 years, on May 8th, 2018, the DNA Doe Project had got his DNA, and they ran it one more time, and it was found to be a match. They had found relatives of this young man. They contacted the relatives, and the relatives actually had some fingerprints of the suspected man. You know, whenever you're a child and they do like your fingerprints for the thing, if you ever lost or stolen, they have like your fingerprints. I feel like every child has them done. It's still done today. It's just like a very common practice. Well, they still had those, and they give them, and it was determined to be him. That he was 25 at the time of his death, and that he was from California. So the family requested that his name be kept private. So I'm sure that you are wondering why this family let it go this long. Why didn't they file a missing persons report? Why weren't they looking for their family member? They simply said that they thought he was alive. They thought he was living, you know, his own life. He didn't want anything to do with them. He was essentially just estranged from the family. They had no idea that this was the outcome, which, you know, to me, that is super, super sad, because it's like, you know, you thought this whole time that he just didn't want anything to do with you, when in reality he was obviously battling something very, very bad in his own mind, and he just, you know, didn't know how to handle it. He couldn't handle it. And they just thought that it was because he didn't want anything to do with them, which is super sad. So since they thought that he was just estranged, they didn't file a missing persons report because they thought he didn't want to be found. I am seriously horrible at doing my eyebrows still. I don't know what it is. I can never get it right. So please just ignore my eyebrows. I'm sorry. I can't. Okay, so this lipstick just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I give up on making it perfect. So if it's not, you know, that is just, that's a personal problem, and we're gonna move on from it. So that is the case of Lyle Stevik, and I still have a lot of questions, and a lot of other people in the true crime sleuthing community also still have lots and lots of questions. A lot of people in the community were, you know, kind of upset because they had spent years of their lives trying to help figure out who this man was, and, you know, trying to bring him to his family, and they were kind of left unread pretty much. And I understand both aspects of it, but it makes me wonder why this man chose a place where nobody would know him. Why he didn't talk to somebody, why he didn't tell somebody. You know, why Amanda Park, Washington, which from what I understand is just a very small town, and that's where he chose. There's a lot of questions, and we will never know the answer to them. We don't know, you know, the significance of the name of the book. We don't know anything. He took all of his secrets with him, and I think that that is what still, you know, to this day, even though it's been solved for 2 years, that, you know, he's been identified, it makes people curious because we want to know his reasoning. I think the true crime community kind of wanted to see pictures of him growing up, pictures of him, his everyday life. They wanted to just see who he was. Who is this man that they have followed for so long, that they've tried to help for so long? Who was this man? I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you like the makeup that I have done. This eye look also was supposed to be red, and in my mirror it looks green on pink. On the mirror it looks pink. In the viewfinder it looks kind of pink, kind of red, but it was supposed to be red. I don't know what went wrong. I think it still looks pretty regardless. Let me know if you would like for me to keep doing these videos. Leave me another case, true crime, mystery, something in the comments, and I'll add it onto my list. You should go ahead and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.